This is another episode of the No Fear Investing Show. If you're wondering where Mike is, well, he's not here because we couldn't fit any more people on the screen. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We could have like 8 people here if we wanted to. You know, we can max it out. But no, today I got some really special guests for you guys. I want to introduce you guys. But if you're new here, let us know in the comments. You can post new if you're new here to the show. Also, you can check us out on our podcast and also our YouTube channel. And this is the place. The No Fear Investing Show is the place if you are, maybe you're going through just getting started. Maybe you feel like you're lost in the weeds trying to figure out what to do in your real estate investing business. And maybe you just feel like, man, how do I get started? How do I get past these hurdles and challenges? This is the place where we help you do that. And today, I have very special friends and guests here, Jessie and Kevin. And I'm not going to share too much about what they do yet. I'm going to let them do that. But guys, thanks so much for being on the show. So good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having both of us on here.
Yeah, I know. Now, but speaking of locations, I know I love technology, but let's just start off with, where are you guys? I think that everyone's going to find this really interesting.
It's not as exotic as Kevin. I'm in the north here in Vancouver, Canada, where we see a lot of rain, but for some reason we're getting a lot of sun this week. So yeah, I'm up here in Vancouver, Canada.
Nice.
And I'm way out here in Seoul, South Korea.
Whoa, South Korea. Now, what time is it over there for you?
It is 7:15 in the morning.
What? So you're just waking up? Good morning. Oh, everybody, just say good morning to Kevin. Just good morning, Kevin.
Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, Kevin.
Starting my day off right.
There you go. Good stuff. Well, I wanted to have Kevin and Jessie here on the show, guys, to share with you about some of the biggest challenges that happen in our real estate investing business. Sometimes at the start of the business, but also as you start closing a few deals, you may delightfully figure out that you need a system, you need a process, because you're unorganized, and papers and Excel sheets and whatever are scattered all over the place. So I wanted to bring in some of the trendsetters. That's what I like to call you guys. I call you guys the trendsetters, the new generation. You guys might have heard of the old generation of organizational. Who was that guy? I forget his name. But these guys are here to help us and share insights on how to get more organized in our real estate investing business. Let's get a little background with you guys. How did you guys meet, by the way?
We're both land investors. We both were in the same group. I actually had a glimpse of what Kevin was working on, and then we just sort of hit it off. We jumped on a call and started talking. We saw, we were sort of aligned in the way that we saw on how to grow a business together. I don't know. It was quite organic. Funny enough, Kevin, I was just talking to my wife about this. Like, man, me and Kevin got along pretty well right off the bat. Like, just kind of luckily, like, we were just aligned. We're really, really aligned. So that's all I sort of remember. Honestly, that wasn't even that long ago, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it was like a year ago.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, yeah, it must have been closer to 2. Yeah, about a year or 2 ago. Hey, Kevin, just want to let you know, when you make it into pillow talk, like when you make it into that conversation, the pillow talk with Kevin and his wife, you've made it in life, man. I mean, that's it.
That's awesome. Kevin's like, this is too early for
No, listen, I have a bunch of interactions. I have a bunch of interactions throughout the day, but man, the ones that get to the wife, those are the special ones.
There you go, Kevin. But yeah, it's been a year, and that's sort of how we sort of got started, and we started talking ideas, and things started rolling. Kevin, I don't know, it was like things kind of, man, it's been a year already, so.
Yeah. Nathan, you mentioned just needing to be organized in this business, and that's exactly the way I felt. I had a few deals under my belt. I felt great, but I realized like I was quickly getting swamped, and my background is in software, so I thought, why not start creating some tools around this process to streamline things, make it easier, and try to try to sort of click away the headache. And so I built a system kind of for myself. I didn't really intend to even share it with anyone. I was just building it to run my own business. And it was, yeah, in the I think it was the RE Tipster group where we were just chatting, and somebody was asking what you use for kind of a technology platform.
Yeah.
And I just posted a quick video, and Jessie reached out and said, "Hey, we need to talk about this." So.
Yeah. And well, listen, for as far, and again, I do want to get more background on the, what you guys were working on, but as short of a time as you guys were working together, like you said, it's only been a year. You guys have done a lot in a year. And if you think about it, I mean, it's amazing what you guys have done. And the industry is already talking about you guys. So when your reputation precedes yourself, and it's really good. I met you, Jessie, before you even met with Kevin. And I remember when I was in the marketplace, we had you mentioned RE Tipster. We had a mutual friend, Seth Williams, and he and I, started talking because of a common problem in the industry, right? We saw a problem and we're like, how can we fix this? And Seth told me, he said, hey, contact Jessie. And I remember something in my email was like, hey, Jessie, Seth said for me to contact you. What's up? Let's jump on a call. And that was our first interaction. So you guys both found a problem and wanted to solve it. Tell us a little bit about that problem. Jessie, why don't you go first and tell us about the biggest problems you had while you were, scaling your business?
Yeah. It's a big one, but, just trying to stay organized in general. I remember when I first got started, I got started pretty quickly with land. And I quickly saw, I had a digital background. I knew how to build sites fairly quickly. I knew how to generate leads fairly quickly. But I could see, this is like, I was Frankensteining everything. Then Seth started having mastermind groups in his program. So he would pair us up. I had a group, and people were asking, hey, how did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do this? I literally helped, I think, almost every member in that group. Wow. And then that group fizzled out in a few weeks or after a couple months. And then I got put into another group and the same thing happened again. So that's when I started talking to Seth about this, seeing how to, essentially, how do we build I sort of viewed land as a very scalable business. I always say it's almost like an e-commerce business behind the facade of real estate investing. It sounds great, real estate investing, but
that's a good way
really,
to put it.
I mean, this was very much like running an e-commerce business, which I was quite familiar with. I had a lot of friends in that circle, and so I could see how the potential of doing this, and that's sort of what led me to start thinking, okay, maybe this is something that a lot of people need help with. And I remember launching the first version. It was not very good. And just getting feedback on that. And
most people would be like, it was amazing. Now, Jessie, that's one thing I like about you, bud. You're so honest yourself. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Canadian in it.
But we went back and worked on it and went through a few versions until we sort of finally settled on what we like, the current way we have our website set up now. And then that's when, me and Kevin started talks about, how do we also solve this problem of managing your entire sort of flow, your entire deal flow. And Kevin had started on something which was awesome. When I first saw it, I recognized that right away. And I was like, hey, let's figure this out. And that's, yeah. So, recognizing that this was, land is very scalable, which is awesome, I think. And we're so happy to see so many of our users kind of like, I've seen so many people kind of literally start telling me, hey, I signed up for this course. I'd like to ask you about this and this. And they're just killing it. Like, this wasn't too long ago. I met with a guy that I remember he started back in, this was maybe in July last year. And he was telling me, like, this was in, early this year, he was netting like 300K, and he's like, yeah, I left my full-time job and this is amazing. And I was like, what?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, great. So
6
it was
months.
awesome to
Yeah.
hear that. And
And
yeah, so
he's not the only one. He's not the only one. I've heard numerous people tell us that. In our community, we have pretty much people who are just getting started, right? So they're closing their 6, 7, their first deal, and then 6, 7, 8, and then we always refer them to your software because it's that part where they need that scale. It's interesting you mentioned this guy where he's just getting started, but sometimes people come in at all different levels for us. One of the things I'd love for you to share is when you find someone comes into your organization, where do you find they're typically at? Are they completely disorganized and they need systems, or is it just the website side of it? How does that work for you guys, and what do you typically see?
yeah, we get a good mix of people who have like a legit good mix of people who
Mm-hmm.
have no experience to experience. Typically, people who have a little bit more experience are able to see the value a lot quicker than people who haven't because they haven't been through all the nuances in land investing. There's
Sure.
just so many nooks and crannies to land investing.
Yeah.
But and then we get a lot of people who's starting out as well, so they're brand new and they're sort of learning and they're sort of getting advice as well on what to do. And so we get a good mix of people. So we get a lot of people that also are using different systems and want to come over and use our system. It is definitely a good mix of everybody for sure.
Mm, mm.
And we've got some people who are doing $1 million a year who are doing
Wow.
doing everything through Pebble, which is kind of cool too.
Wow, that's great. So,
Yeah.
so when you guys came together, you noticed that there was a need in the marketplace. Jesse, you coming off like the website stuff, and Kevin with his background in software, you're just like, hey, let's put these two together, right? How did that all work out?
Yeah, so
Kevin?
as I was building the kind of the tech side, I am definitely a tech guy. Like I think about software and features, and I can put my head down and I can crank stuff out. But when it comes to kind of marketing and sales, that's just not my forte. So I knew straight off the bat that Jesse has all those things, and I'm sure you know this as well, that he can sell anything. So so Jesse really took the reins as like, I'll market it, I'll do the sales and the calls and the podcasts and all that, and then I focus on the tech side. And that's really, I think it's been a great partnership in that way because
Absolutely.
I couldn't do anything that Jesse's doing. So.
Right.
I think where we sort of also blend is like I have a bit of background in design as well, so there's that area where we kind of blend, and then obviously we're both in the land investing space as well, so having that knowledge as well, and then again, it was just a good complement to each other and figuring things out. So yeah, it's been sort of great in that sense.
That's awesome. So a lot of land investors, you said it so well, Jesse. You said there's a lot of like nuances. I call those whatever moving parts. Got to turn a lot of handles to make all the water run through the system. And I think a lot of people get really hung up on this. They have to create. That's what we always hear with someone who's just getting started. They have to create their own little system. That little system, when we peel back the curtain and we're doing screen shares with our clients, man, that turns into like 30 spreadsheets, and sticky notes, all kinds of apps and it's just all over the place. So let's kind of zero in on that a little bit. How does what you guys have created help streamline that for investors?
Yeah, we sort of took a step back and looked at, okay, first of all, what are the steps that we have to get into, and we wanted to make sure that, we're addressing each one of these steps, but also take into consideration, not only do you have all these different steps, but the prep time that you have to do, things like mail merging and accessing files and linking things together and setting up connections. We just knew this was a huge problem because we've been through it. We've been through it ourselves. So, sorry, I totally lost your question. What was the question again, Nathan?
I didn't even have a question. I'm kidding. Just about. Good.
Yeah, just about the. In terms of getting the kind of process baked into this software is really what we were
Right.
ultimately thinking, because for those who are just starting out, like, you don't need to spend 6 hours figuring out how to do a mail merge in Word and then figuring out how to send that over to a mail house, and then it gets kicked back because it's not in the right dimensions, and you might just quit because you're like, I work a full-time job, I've got 2 hours to do this at night, like,
Right.
I'm not gonna like watch YouTube videos for 6 hours figuring out how to do the most basic thing. So in Pebble, we really tried to take that pain out. So mailing is as easy as just upload your list, click send.
Kevin, you have to say
out.
click, click, click at least 3 times. It just got to sound so simple.
Yeah.
Just click, 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 and it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
You brought up a great point, though, Kevin, about, people have limited time, right? So they may be starting this part-time, and they don't want to spend, like, who wants to spend 6, 7, 8 hours trying to figure out mail merge? Let's talk about the pain points that you said when you were starting to create Pebble. You're like, we got to have this because it's something that a lot of people get stuck in. What were some of those maybe top 3 things that you guys started to focus on first?
Yeah, so number 1 was probably document generation. So I was selling term deals a lot, and if you've ever done a terms deal, there's like just a pile of documentation that you have to do. Yeah. Each state is slightly different, so you gotta like tweak your documents a little bit. So every time I'd sell a property, I'd be like, yes, I sold a property. I gotta like open up Word and like,
oh no,
it's that dreading feeling of having, I gotta go through the process of creating this closing doc or whatever doc you have to go through.
Yeah.
And at first it literally was like, I opened up the last closing doc I did, and I did like find and replace on the name, but then like I'm selling it to 2 people now, so I gotta like tweak that, and it's in a different state, so I gotta make sure I like get this header right, and like it was just so painful. So that was one big thing is you define your documents once, you put your stuff in there, and it's just from then it's just one click, and we just sort of generate it for you.
That's awesome.
One click.
One click. Jesse, what was something that you heard from the market, right, from your users, that was like a number 2? What was another big thing that people were saying, I need help with fixing this?
Yeah, I think lead tracking is where people get, it's just it's like you do your first mailing and you start getting leads back in, and you start realizing it piles up really quickly, and then adding a second batch of mailing out there is just like, holy smokes, hold on, like, where's everything? It's great. I can, when I first started, I was using something like Trello, and it was great, when we got a few leads in there, but when stuff started piling in, you could see where your time is getting consumed. Like, which property is this guy? And then, okay, this is the property. Okay, I'm going to go into my this Google Drive to find the documents and the information, or the spreadsheet about this property. Again, there's just, a lot of moving parts, and having to link that seamlessly inside of Pebble just made so much sense, right? So now we're able to automatically bring in leads from wherever, right? With very minimal setup, whether you're listing your property on something like LandWatch, Land.com, Zillow, whatever it is, it routes right into Pebble. From there, you're going to be able to track your leads that are coming in. You know exactly what property they're talking about. And same with the seller side too. Like, everything is sort of linked. You know what I mean? It just makes so much more sense. It's always a challenge when you've got when you're trying to scale a business and you've got all these different pieces of tech everywhere that you're trying to access information from. So the value is really, again, having all of that live inside of one roof and all easily accessible. So I would say that sort of that next big thing would be, lead tracking. Absolutely. And that is one of the probably most common things I end up talking about on a lot of my demo calls, or, we once a month we go on live just to show people, okay, this is how you can do your lead tracking. And we've got a lot of flexibility in there, but lead tracking was one of those big things.
Let's transition over to Excel spreadsheets.
REI Conversion is a complete system to help you simplify your land investing business. With our core land management and CRM tool called REI Pebble, it streamlines the entire process of land investing. From automated printing and mailing of your offer letters, to easy document generations for contracts, to purchase agreements, all the way to tracking and managing your property's buyer and seller leads. REI Pebble helps you and your team save time, automate, and organize, allowing you to run your land investing business from anywhere and giving your land business the tools and system the chance to scale and grow. Get an exclusive extended free 30-day access into REI Pebble today. Take advantage of our low bulk mailing rates with no commitments by going to www.fearlessmillionaire.com/pebble.
People, one, they track their leads through Excel, but people use it in different ways. They have their buyers, their sellers, and then the deal flow, deal activity, right? And it just turns in from one spreadsheet to another. How do you guys help investors organize their business by reducing the amount of spreadsheets that are needed?
Yeah, so we try to keep everything in one spot is basically what we try to do. So for me, for my business, I want Pebble to be the single source of truth, the place where I go to get everything. I might use different services tied into it. Like I might use a document signing service or a phone calling service, but I want all of that kind of central stuff to be in Pebble. So that's the first place I start.
Okay.
So yeah, when we talk about lead tracking, we have a great Kanban board. So that's like a Trello style where you get your leads come in on the left column, and your goal is to get them through to the right column, and the right column is like sold.
Yeah.
So you can walk them through there. When you click on one of the cards on the Trello board or on the Kanban board, you get all the details about that person, when they called, what they said. You get all the details about the property, so you know exactly what's going on. Generate documents.
That's a good point you bring up there. I want to interject here before I turn it over to Jessie. Is I remember back in the day, before softwares were even created for real estate investing, but there was I used to use the Manila folder file system, which was I would write the address on the folder, and all the documents would get stuffed in that folder, and it would all be like laid out in one of those files, right? And so when someone called in about that property, you pick up the folder and boom, there it is, right? And you write all your notes in there.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I just literally heard someone else doing that in our group the other day, and that's the way been keeping organized. Now, is that a good long-term plan? Maybe not. If you got a lot more going on, but everybody tends to have their own They I don't want to call it a system hack, but they basically grab here, grab from there, put all these pieces together. I love how you said you created a home. You created that one, to start your business in the day. You're waking up 6-7 o'clock in the morning. Where do I go? Boom. It's right here to Pebble. And by the way, how did you guys go with the name Pebble?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I think we were sort of toying with some names, but I felt like it was just a name that just sounded simple, and it was kind of related to land, and it's a small little pebble, and I don't know, there was just some sort of simplicity and elegance to that name, and we both kind of stuck to it, and we liked it. So
it's a great
we didn't
name.
put too much thought into it. Yeah, so
it's a great name, and the way I envisioned it was. I envisioned it as a bunch of pebbles, not just one. I envisioned the land business has all these kinds of pebbles. And, if you have a pebble in your shoe, it could be a real pain. But if you had a pebble in your hand or on a whatever in front of you as you look at, some people have these stones and all that. It could be such a beautiful thing. And I look at your software like such a beautiful piece of art. That's how I look at it. Oh my God. Or look at it this way. You guys take the pain out of real estate investing. Let's put it that way, right? Because man, there's so many moving parts to, the land investing side of the business. And you guys really take the pain, the pebble out of people's feet, Anyway,
I like that.
Yeah,
That should be our new tagline. We take the pebble out of your shoe.
Yeah, something like that. You can. I'll send you an invoice for that one later, Kevin. It's no big deal. Jessie, I want to hear back from you about going back to organization. What would be something that you hear from your clients that says, Jessie, I got all X going on right now. How can Pebble solve my biggest pain of whatever that is? Share with us what that is.
When it comes to organization,
yeah,
I think we sort of kind of touched upon that.
Do you hear something else? Do you hear other big things that other than organization, but something else that's pretty popular right now?
A lot of it is really sort of tracking information, and everybody runs their land business a little bit differently. And that's what sort of allows, Pebble isn't stuck to one school of way of approaching land. Everybody's got their own sort of way of doing it. And that's the beauty about Pebble, is that it's simple enough, but there's a lot of room for you to be able to customize your process in there. And so a lot of people are coming up to me saying, hey, I do my land business this way. I need to make sure that, my team member, like, he knows exactly which property he needs to work on. Great. Well, you can absolutely do that with this sort of feature. And a lot of that, it comes to, a lot of people have their own process, I think, of running their business. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people come to us with when, wanting to be able to organize their business. And really, a lot of people just, like we mentioned, they just want to be able to have a centralized hub to be organized, to know what that next step is. People are coming to us wanting to have a process at the end of the day. They want to be able to stick with something that will grow with them and be able to build a process, right? And that's, again, you have that flexibility. We have sort of an ideal way that you can run your business inside of Pebble, but man, the people are doing such creative things. We have a user, I call her the queen of CRM, Cal, and she goes in there and she goes bonkers with like zaps and automations and this, everything, goes out in a specific order. And we have some people who are just as or more experienced saying, hey, I love the simplicity and what you've distilled Pebble into. It's so flexible and it's so simple, but it gets what I need to get done, keeps me on top of things, and keeps things moving.
That's awesome.
Another, in terms of organizing, I've heard this a lot, is a lot of people do their mailing based on emotion. So like, okay, I've done my mailing. Great. I'm handling all these leads. Suddenly,
I was waiting for you guys to bring up the mail. I was waiting. I was like, are they going to talk? Who knows? To me, I think it's a great feature, but go for it.
It totally is. Yeah, no, for sure. And people get so great, my mailing's out. And then like, oh my gosh, like I've been doing like handling leads for the last 2-3 weeks. I've got to pull my hair out and do another mailing now. I've got to blast out another 2,000, and it becomes this vicious cycle where it's like I'm only doing my mailing on like basically reaction. But what we need to do, like, and I say this all the time, in order to build scalability into any business, we need some sort of predictability. And that's the beauty about what we're doing with our mailing, which is drip mailing. So we're dripping out every day. We've got users who set up 10,000 mailing campaigns across several months. So every day they're shooting that out. But that means they're not dealing with, seller leads 2 or 3 weeks like nonstop, and that's all they can do. And if they're doing a 9 to 5 or whatever other projects they're involved with, they just aren't going to be able to work on that business. So that mailing side of things helps really keep the business moving and organized, and builds that predictability in so that they can continue moving the wheels and scale their business. So it's been hugely impactful for a lot of even people who are just starting out. And we're seeing that more and more users are needing to send more mailers out. So it is one of those things that is becoming more and more of an issue, where people need to kind of have some sort of predictability in terms of the leads that come back in.
I think that's one of my favorite features about Pebble, is the fact that you can set it and forget it, right? Click, and there it goes, right? And that's the truth, because a lot of our members they will have these bursts of mail go out, and then they have like this down period, right? This downtime. And that annoys me because it's like, what's going on? Why didn't you do a mailer like, 2 weeks ago or a week ago? Because by the time it drops and hits and goes out, your phones will be lighting up, right? So I love, that's actually my favorite feature about Pebble. I want to, because there's a lot of, and you know why it's my favorite feature? Because I hate doing the mailings. That's why it's like, for me, it's like, I'm here, let's do it. I think that's a great sigh of relief for a lot of people. It's like, whoa, this automatically goes out.
And it keeps your funnel filled. It's it always, you don't feel that until a few weeks later. If you've done a bunch of mailing and you haven't done mailing, you don't really sort of feel the effects of that until later down the road. So yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point. And hey guys, since you guys are like king of software these days, and you guys did an amazing job. I still think after a year, you guys are doing some awesome work. Just on a side note, on a personal note, what do you guys, outside of the investing business, what do you guys use, or what's your favorite app? This is how I have to say this, okay? Because if you're like me, I change apps every few months. I'm always looking for the next best thing or the next best update. But what's your favorite app to use to keep your life organized?
Yeah, I use Todoist like religiously every day.
Really? You guys are Microsoft guys, right? Isn't Todoist a Microsoft app?
I'm on an Mac.
Oh, really? Wait, wasn't Todoist created by Microsoft, or am I totally wrong?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I think it's a separate thing.
It's a separate. Yeah, Kevin's all over it. He's like,
I think they're in Europe somewhere.
Oh, are they?
I think so.
Should I look into it? Is that are you recommending it to me? Like, Nathan, sign up today.
Kevin, do you use it? I don't even know if you use it.
I do too. Yeah, it's I don't use it as religiously as you do, Jesse, but I use it to track pretty much everything. It's basically a glorified to-do list, but it allows you to kind of do some nice stuff, set reminders and projects and that sort of things.
Jesse, what's your favorite part about Todoist?
Be able to like Command Shift A is like, boom, I'll open it up and just type in what I need to do, hashtag, or when I'm in the car now, I'll even like whatever pops into mind, I'll add it right in from my phone, so through the voice or whatever. So I don't know how I'd survive without that thing. So
that's I like how you put that. I don't know how I'd survive without that. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, really.
Kevin, what do you would not survive? what would kick the bucket for you if you didn't have what application? Is it Todoist, or do you have another one?
Oh man,
I know there's so many.
If I didn't have my text editor, I would be just up a creek.
Right. Really? Text editor. Is that a specific name, or it's just called text editor?
I use this thing. It was built. It's like 30, 40 years old. It's called Emacs. Okay. And I've spent a decade of my career tweaking it to be exactly the way I want it. And so it is now at the point where it's like one with my brain. So
really?
That's definitely my
wow.
Oh man. Well, guys, listen, it's been great having you here on the show, and thank you so much for sharing your insights about how you guys not only stay organized, but most importantly how you have helped a lot of other real estate investors get organized. And I think that's one of the best parts about living in this world, when you have a heart to help others, to be able to help other people in their lives. It just comes back to you multifold. And we've seen that through all the people that have talked so highly about Pebble and what it does and how it's helped change their business. There's nothing else out there. There's nothing else out there. You guys know that. This is like the cream of the crop. Good stuff. Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Nathan.
Good to have you here.
Thank you for having us on this show.
Yeah, thank you so
it's
much.
Been great. And by the way, guys, as you can tell, there's a link right there below our handsome faces. You can check out that link and get started with Pebble today, and enjoy the benefits, reap the benefits of it. All right. Until next time.
If you heard, if you watch this and you want to try Pebble and you go through this link, If you heard it through us on this podcast, let us know, and we'll extend your trial an extra 2 weeks, so you can get a full free month.
Wow! Look at you!
Full free month.
Yeah, and you know what? If you don't like it, go in there. At least use our mailing rates. We've got discounted mailing rates. Like, take advantage of our documents. Steal whatever you want to steal in there. Go for it.
Wow,
Both Kevin and I are very confident about the system. I know there's a lot of people who just want to test it out and want to see, and go in there, test it out, jump on a call with us, jump on a call with me, use this link here, fearlessmillionaire.com/pebble. Shoot us an email after you sign up. We'll then honor an extra 2 weeks, and I'll follow up with you. We'll jump in live there. We'll do a mailing campaign together.
Wow.
If you don't like it, hey, you got some free docs. You got
You're gonna like it. They're gonna like it. They're gonna like it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna.
Yeah,
you're
gonna
like Jesse. You're so nice. You're so kind.
I always tell that to people. I think that people are always nervous to jump into a system, and they think we're not there to support them. I think when you sort of hear the feedback from our users, we've always been there, and we continue to serve you guys. And this system wouldn't exist without our community. So we're really proud to be working with the people that are joining us. So
that's awesome. And I'll second that. You guys are there. I've seen the support you guys give, and you help, you guys even help my team out. I remember that so many times. So guys, seriously, 2 thumbs up. And anybody who's considering it, should check it out, because it will save you a lot of time. I mean, time, that's the best part. Save you a lot of time.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Kevin, good to see you again. Good morning.
Yeah, you too.
Jesse, good night.
It was great seeing you too.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Take care.
Bye.